in giving us some of the food that we need in order to close this gap. The relationship between the male and the female is so important. It's paramount. And I'm going to go to scripture, to Surah 4, Al-Nisa, the woman. And the first verse reads, in the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Most Merciful. O people, keep your duty to your Lord, who created you from a single being and created its mate of the same kind, and spread from those too many men and women. And keep your duty to Allah, by whom you demand one of another your rights, and to the ties of relationship. Surely Allah is ever a watcher over you. I'm going to go to Message to the Black Man. And there's a passage in the Message to the Black Man. Now this is all about closing the gap. That reads, that's entitled The Black Woman. And it's on page 58 of Message to the Black Man. And it reads, I'm just going to take a little paragraph. The woman is man's field to produce his nation. If he does not keep the enemy out of his field, he won't produce a good nation. If we love our vegetable crops, we will go out and turn up the leaves on that vegetable stalk and look carefully for worms that are eating and destroying the vegetables. We will kill that worm, right? The next section reads, protect and elevate your woman. Allah himself has said that we cannot return to our land until we have a thorough knowledge of our own selves. Now, we are here. Allah has blessed us, the black man and woman, to reproduce everything that he has put on this earth. And how we are reproducing it is by purifying it, because it's been in the hands of Satan. And Satan has taken all that Allah has given us of purity, and he has disdained it. He has colored it with filth. He has poisoned the waters and the earth and the air. And Allah has preserved us during slavery for us to understand just how filthy and wicked Satan really is. And Allah has now come in person to prove his power by putting his hand on us and resurrecting us back to our original state of a God. Now, being a God will enable us to turn back the winds of time and clean up all the mess that Satan has done on this planet, and reverse all the mess that he has done within us. Closing the gap is that power that Allah is reintroducing into us to enable us to be that God again. And he has given us an example of that in the Honourable Minister Louis Farrakhan, to prove, all praises due to Allah, to prove that this word that we've been given will transform us if we submit to that word and do the work. It's an individual work because Allah loves us as individuals. As individuals, all praise is due to Allah. And there is nothing and no one on this planet that Allah will not defeat for us. For us. But it's very important that we understand our nature. That's key. The nature of the male and the nature of the female. Because in understanding our purpose in life, we will then be able to come together and conquer whatever trials we find us coming that comes against us. Together. Thank you, brother. Together. But the key is the nature that Allah has given us. We have been messed over. So when we try to help each other, all we can hear is the mess that Satan has put in our minds. Praise be to Allah. Praise be to Allah. We know we love each other. We know we do. We feel the attraction. But when we come together, we see what Satan has made in the slave. We see Willie Lynch's theory being played out. That's what we see. So we have to try to focus on the nature and not the individual. Know our purpose in life and concentrate on the purpose rather than the individual. I'm going to go to some of the things that the Honourable Minister Louis Farrakhan was addressing in Closing the Gap in the book. And he spoke about, based upon the grafting process that Willie Lynch put us through during slavery, that made us deviate from Allah God, because he stripped all of that from us. He killed off all of the parents, and we are the babies that he had full access to. And in the message to the black man and Closing the Gap, it speaks about when the conqueror comes to conquer a nation. And once he conquers and annihilates that nation, the woman is left open for him. That's the booty, that's the prize. For him then to establish himself and his will in her, and then she produces what he needs. What he needs. And when he conquers that people, the man, he destroys that man. And he takes that black woman and he shows that black woman just how he has destroyed her man, and that that man cannot come to her rescue anymore. So she produces children that sees the conqueror as the God, and not the child's father. The father has no more power to influence the woman and that child. So she turns to what she sees at that time as that God. But our nature, he can't interfere with the nature, because Allah has put so much reminders out there in the universe that submits to their nature. And that's a reminder for us. That's a mercy for us. We focus on our nature. And what is our nature? The man's nature, his natural nature, his natural inclination This is what he says. The man cannot demand from a woman until he first fulfills his nature to her.
Come on.
Now, if, and this is true, that Satan has messed up our nature, he's reversed it. So you have the woman going out in front and be in the world and conquering and getting all of these. She's going, she's working, she looks like she's the god of the family. And you have the man now who should be who is in her role and looking for her to provide for him. Do you understand? Those two natures are in reverse. So the man's natural nature is to be the conqueror. The man's natural nature is to be the provider, the protector. Do you understand? That's natural. So even when the woman is doing what she's doing, his nature's gonna kick in. And it does kick in. And even though the woman is doing what she's doing, her nature is kicking in. And that's where the rebellion is taking place, because that Satan can't deal with the nature. He can't strip the nature from the person. He can turn the roles around, but not the nature. Because that's a law. When Allah was creating the universe, when Allah was creating this universe, the womb, we are reminded that neither male or female knew when Allah was producing his offspring in her. Doctor can't tell you. You don't even know to go to doctor. Do you understand? So Allah, outside of the knowledge of anybody else, does his work through nature.